mentioned, we have so much. The kids are distracted in so many different ways, like video games, and you got the news. You got when you go to school. When the kids go to school, they're learning one way. When they learn from their parents, they learn another way. Yeah, there are so many different directions. So many things they come in contact with that make them react the way they react.
Well, Life, thank you so much for your phone call. We appreciate you.
I got a question. Keep Life for a second.
Okay, sure.
Hey, Life, what's up, man?
Yeah, blessings.
Our host just walked in, just joined us.
I just joined. Well, Life has an interesting story. Life, can you give us like 3 minutes of what happened? And, you've been shot 3 times.
Oh, wow.
In the face. Sure. And you're still here to tell the story. Can you briefly tell us what's happening?
Yeah, sure. Actually, 2006, this incident was never mentioned. I thank y'all. I thank y'all so much because my mom died from aneurysm. I got shot in the face 3 times
in the face.
And, I was approached by two people with a gun, and they shot me 3 times. And I love the Most High, and that's why I'm still here. That's why we're still here. But I believe that, I never got recognition. No one even gave me a card or never. My mom died from aneurysm.
Well, sorry to hear that. Our condolences goes out to your mom. Now, what you think happened? You said it was like a gang initiation that did this?
It's gang related. I wrote letters to the president.
United States.
To Elijah Cummings. I wrote letters to Sheila Dixon. This happened in 2006. 5/21, May 21st to be exact.
So he wasn't awarded in the city of Baltimore. See, if you get hurt in the city of Baltimore, they're supposed to award you for your safetyness. And everybody swept it under the rug. Everybody told him not to talk about it. So he here briefly talking about it. We're gonna bring him in the studio one day to finish the story up. So
thank y'all so much. I was just blessed to do a job at Walmart. I'm having a little problem with my eye because I was shot once under the eye and twice through the mouth. But again, that's how great the Father is. And we all need each other. I believe no man is an island, no man stand alone. We all need each other. We just don't know when, where, or how. But we need each other. And it's the love. It's mainly the love, because if I didn't have the love, I'm constantly talking to myself every day and just wondering, like, for justice. Even though my mom is gone, but I feel like justice. It's a lot of people out there facing all type of issues, and I mean there's so much trouble out there in the world.
Well, Life, thank you so much for sharing your story. We really appreciate you, and we wish you the best of luck in your endeavors.
Thank you.
No problem. Good afternoon, Charles. How are you?
Yes, good afternoon.
Hey, Joe.
So what do you think?
Got to bring up the curriculum.
Okay.
The curriculum is not doing anything for these students. I don't understand how they can learn. I mean, when you got Common Core, something that is foreign to the parents, but it's supposed to be new to the children, they tell you don't read the whole book. A lot of books they omit. I mean, they're teaching the children on a curve. I mean, they're teaching them to curve. So how can they actually learn anything when they're only getting maybe 10% of what they actually need? I mean,
how many percent they supposed to get?
I just don't understand it.
What they supposed to get, Charles? 100% of learning? You say 10%.
Yeah, they only getting 10% of what they need. If somebody tells you all you need to do is skim the first paragraph of every chapter, read every other chapter, and you don't have to read the last 5 chapters, I mean, what are you reading the book for? When you're doing Common Core and then this stuff continues to change and you can't sit down with your parents and your grandparents and we can understand how to help you deal with your schoolwork, because we don't understand your schoolwork. And there becomes a disconnect between the parents and the children.
And I don't believe the programs are out there like they were when I was coming up. When I was coming up, aftercare meant specific classes, tutoring. Then as you got older and you got into your last year of junior high school, they had programs that you had to go to so you could start building yourself for the future. You know,
Right, but guidance counselors have gone. I don't know where guidance counselors.
I don't know
are.
what
I've
happened.
never even heard of a guidance counselor in the last 40 years.
Guidance class when you go to the guidance in school and someone to talk to you, they don't do that no more.
I don't believe that they're intense like they used to be. I think that they're just there, and there's just problems being thrown back and forth,
Maybe
not
we
the
should have a
actual
teacher to call here.
curriculums. Exactly. So I think
Whenever people got into a fight, they got sent to the guidance counselor to talk about it and probably bring in their parents before they got suspended.
Now they're getting
Right.
getting arrested, and the police are coming
Wait
to
a
arrest
minute,
them.
getting arrested.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. It's not a
They're
game
getting
anymore.
Body slammed. They're getting punched in the
Oh,
face.
my
They're getting
goodness.
laid
They're being
down.
handled like criminals. Well, Charles, thank you so much for your phone call. We appreciate you. TK, how are you?
Well, and yourself?
Yes, wonderful. So what do you think? Are children able to learn in uncomfortable environments?
There are a lot of impediments to it, you know. I guess comfort may be one of them. But you know, when I think that, remembering conversations with my parents, who came up in the 1930s and 40s. Their comfort level in their schools, they didn't have ideal situations. The difference is, and my father always told us this, they were hungry for education. They were hungry because it was something that was denied them.
It's
And
about
they were
3 o'clock in
after
the
it,
morning, folks.
and it
Tuesday,
was important.
November
It
the
was important
3rd.
enough for them to go
I'm
after.
riding down
And I think that's really the
Liberty
big
Road
difference that we see when we
Randallstown,
talk about
Maryland.
conditions. Talk about education. Talk about comfort.
Listening to
if you talk
Al
to someone in another country
last week's show.
outside of here, the so-called third world, they'd laugh at this conversation.
That is true, and I'm glad you brought up that international perspective because I went to high school in Nigeria. I lived there for
What?
5 years, so
It's not
I
like
went
it
to a
over
school.
here?
I mean, the school that I went to, there was no air conditioning. There was, and I retained
My
information.
daughter
I
go to
did very well.
Yorkwood here,
I
no
did very
air
well in
conditioning.
school, so I'm not saying that there aren't air conditioning. There's not air conditioning in high schools in Nigeria. The one that I went to didn't,
I'm
and I
saying
was still.
elementary. Here, no air conditioning. Yorkwood Elementary. My daughter presently, right now,
And that's one
go
of the
to
reasons why I
Yorkwood.
brought up the topic is because what you had told me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I talked to the principal.
but I think in terms of what the caller's saying in terms of the cultural perspective of what is comfortable and what's not comfortable, I think that's important to note because I was still able to do very well in high school despite
Nigeria,
that.
it's hot there anyway.
You dealt with it.
Right.
I just dealt with it. I adapted accordingly. I adapted.
So I think the thing is, of course we want to make conditions the best as possible, for the children, but we can't continue to create excuses why they can't do. We can't, we can't, of course, what our parents wanted was for a better life for us than they had. But I got to tell you, one of the biggest problems that happened with the previous generation is that they probably gave too much.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I deal with my sons, I have to make sure that as I observe how I raise them, I have to make sure I don't give them too much. I have to make sure that they actually have to go out and get and earn some things.
Exactly. Thank you so much for your phone call. We appreciate you.
Yeah, since the 50s, 1950,
Exactly.
Yorkwood didn't have no AC.
Wow, Marcus, how are you?
Yeah. Hello, how you doing?
So what's your view and what are your thoughts about this topic? Because again, the phone lines have been lit up during the whole show. What's your opinion?
Okay. So what's the difference when your parents and you and maybe me used to look in the back of books and you see 100 names back there where these were hand-me-down books, where you had to walk to school, where they had to walk to school, where they was in one little room houses, and produce some of the most brilliant people on the face of the earth. What's the difference between then and now? Forget all the money and putting in schools. What is the difference? Why did you leave your black school? Why did you want to segregate? Why did you break that up? Because you know what the difference is?
So you're contributing
Love.
segregation?
You know what the difference is? Love. Where that black teacher and that black school that you went to
that woman would stay or a man would stay with you after school until you got it right. You know what I mean? Because they had pride. They had something that you don't get today. Now they
So you're attributing integration in the schools to.
He said he blaming.
I'm using the word blaming. That's what I hear. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong.
what I'm saying, integration was a terrible thing.
Wow, that's an interesting perspective.
When you went to that one black school, that black woman or black man would stay with you all day till you wrote them ABCs right.
I hear what you're saying, but being in an
And
all black.
now they ring the bell, and when the bell rang, they been gone. They was ready to leave before you did.
But you also want to learn in an environment that's reflective of the world around you, and we're not around black people all the time. And this is coming from someone who I went to a HBCU. I graduated from Howard, but I also went to a multiracial elementary school. I went to high school in Nigeria. I came back to go to Howard, so my educational experiences have varied.
No AC in Nigeria, AC here. That's what you're trying to say.
They varied, yeah, they varied.
So you can learn with AC.
I can learn without AC.
You
I
can.
can.
Oh, can't you? And the way your parents used to walk to school all the way to there to that one little room house back in the day. You know what I mean? What happened?
Well,
What
Marcus,
really
we
happened?
definitely appreciate your phone call. And,
What's going on? You said a police officer beat up someone sitting at the desk?
A young girl. It's been on the news.
it was horrible.
I know, I
I
heard.
believe it was South Carolina.
That makes for an uncomfortable classroom experience.
They should have a woman officer deal with a
No
woman
sarcasm
student.
intended, but
A man
Gotta go,
officer
folks.
deal with a man student. What you think?